The morning was beautiful. A clear blue sky stretched wide. The sun painted the clouds with soft light. The plane climbed smoothly. Inside, passengers settled. Some read, some slept. It felt like any other flight. A journey just beginning, but the sky held a secret. The peace was fragile. A strange sound started. A low hum, then a shudder. Something was wrong. Deeply wrong. Fear began to whisper in the quiet cabin. The perfect morning was a lie. A young mother, Sarah, held her baby, little Leo. He was only 6 months old. He gurgled, he waved tiny fists. He knew nothing of the world's dangers. Sarah hummed a lullaby, a soft, gentle tune. She kissed his warm forehead. Her love for him was a fierce, protective thing. She checked his tiny blue blanket. Was he warm enough? Was he comfortable? Her entire universe was this small child in her arms. She whispered little promises to him, promises of a safe landing, of a happy life. Then the world tilted. The plane lurched violently. Alarms screamed. A sudden terrifying noise. People cried out. Objects flew. Sarah clutched Leo. Tighter. Ever tighter. He was her only thought, her only prayer. The ground rushed towards them, a blur of green and brown. Metal twisted and groaned. A final awful impact. A sound that ended everything. Then, darkness. A heavy, crushing silence fell. The journey had ended, not as planned, not at all. Out of the silence, a small sound, a whimper, then a cry. Leo, he was alive, a tiny miracle in the midst of ruin. He lay nestled in the wreckage. His mother was beside him. Still, her arms had been his shield, her body his protection. She had not survived, but her love had. Her final act was to save her son. He cried out, a small, lonely sound in the vast, broken silence of the crash. Alone, but not entirely. Leo's cries pierced the stillness of the forest, a sound of pure need, a sound of survival. The wreckage smoked, a scar upon the green earth. No other human sounds emerged, only the baby's persistent wail. It was a tiny beacon of life in a landscape of destruction. He was so small, so vulnerable, lost in the aftermath of a terrible tragedy. He was a life clinging on, unaware of the odds stacked against him. His cries were a plea to an empty world. Not far away, a pair of pointed ears twitched. A scruffy dog, lean and cautious. He knew the forest. He knew hunger. He knew loneliness. Humans, in his experience, often meant trouble, or worse, abandonment. But this sound was different, high-pitched, desperate. It pulled at something ancient within him. Curiosity battled with his ingrained fear. He moved slowly, carefully, through the dense undergrowth. His wet nose tested the air, guiding him towards the unfamiliar scent and sound. The dog reached the edge of the clearing. He saw the mangled plain, and then he saw the baby, so small, so helpless, crying. The dog paused. He watched. He listened. The scent of metal and fuel was strong, but beneath it something else, the scent of innocence. He took a hesitant step, then another. The baby's cries softened slightly as the dog came into view. The dog lay down a short distance away. He whined softly, a gentle sound. He crept closer and licked Leo's tiny waving hand. Night arrived. The forest air grew cold. Leo shivered in his thin blanket. The dog, sensing the chill, moved closer. He carefully curled his warm, furry body around the infant. He was a living blanket, a breathing shield against the cold. He shared his body heat. He offered a silent, steady comfort. Leo, instinctively seeking warmth, snuggled into the dog's fur. The dog stayed awake. His eyes scanned the darkness. He was a guardian now, an unlikely protector for a helpless child. The days blurred into one another, a cycle of hunger and hope. The dog, who had no name but answered to the baby's need, never strayed far. He understood the gnawing ache of an empty belly. He knew the secret places of the forest. He would leave for short periods, his paws silent on the forest floor. He hunted small animals, enough for himself. He could not feed the baby in the human way, but he ate near Leo. His presence was a constant, a reassurance. He kept other animals away with low growls. Max, as he would later be known, found a small, shallow cave. A rocky overhang. It offered shelter from the biting wind and the cold rain that sometimes fell. He gently nudged Leo towards it, using his nose, using his body. He gathered dry leaves. He made a soft, clumsy nest. He tried to keep Leo dry. He licked Leo's face clean when it was smeared with dirt. He was more than just a dog. He was a lifeline. The baby learned his scent. The baby felt his comforting warmth. They were a strange family, surviving against all odds. Hope. It was a fragile thing, like a candle flame in the wind. Rescue teams were searching. They knew the plane was down, but the forest was vast, impenetrable. Days passed. Their efforts seemed fruitless. They scanned the endless green from helicopters. They called out names that echoed unanswered. They found only silence, or so they believed. They did not know about the tiny life that beat on, or the loyal heart that guarded it. They were looking for tragedy, not for miracles. Then, a flicker of that hope. A pilot, his eyes tired from searching, saw something. A glint of metal, almost hidden by the trees, deep within the wilderness. The rescue team moved in. On foot, carefully, slowly, they expected the worst. Their hearts were heavy with what they might find. They steeled themselves for a scene of utter loss, but then a sound, faint at first, a baby's cry, and alongside it the soft bark of a dog. Disbelief washed over their faces. Could it be? The rescuers stood in stunned silence. It was true. The baby, Leo, was alive, and a dog, thin but alert, stood guard over him. Max, for that was his spirit, growled, a low warning. He would not let these strangers near his charge, not immediately. He was fierce in his protection. A rescuer, a woman with kind eyes, spoke softly. She offered her hand, she offered water. Slowly, Max seemed to understand. These humans were not a threat, they were help. But he stayed close, very close to Leo. They were airlifted from the forest. Leo, weak but miraculously unharmed. Max whined, he paced, he refused to be left behind. He tried to follow the small stretcher carrying Leo. A medic saw the desperation in the dog's eyes, saw the unwavering loyalty. Let him come, she said, he's earned it. Max sat beside Leo in the helicopter, his head resting near the baby's hand. His duty, he felt, was not yet over. He was more than a stray, he was a hero, a true four-legged friend. Leo recovered, a miracle child, the doctors called him. He would need a new family, a new start. And what of Max, the dog who had been his warmth, his protector, his only companion? The bond between them was too deep, too profound to be broken. The story reached the adoption agency. They understood. Leo and Max were a package deal. A loving couple wanted Leo. They heard his story. They opened their hearts and their home to Max as well, a new life together. Years passed. Leo grew, a happy boy playing in a sun-drenched garden. Max, older now, his muzzle touched with grey, watched him, always watchful. Their bond was a story told often, a testament to hope, a reminder that even in the deepest darkness, loyalty can shine like a star. Love can be found in the most unexpected of places. Unlikely friendships can be the ones that save us. Hope and loyalty. These are the quiet, powerful forces. They endure, they always endure.